All right, hi guys. This is my presentation for the tort part of this class. It's mod 12. First and foremost, what is a tort? So a tort is a civil wrong for which a remedy, a solution may be obtained, usually in the form of damages, most likely a lawsuit that results in some sort of settlement. In schools, there's two main types, and teachers are liable for these acts that may cause injury to a student while under the teacher's supervision, or not under the teacher's supervision, which seems to be the problem. And there are two main types in schools: negligence, so a teacher not paying attention to what is going on, a teacher not doing their duty, a teacher not being where they're supposed to be, and intentional torts, assault or battery of a student. So a couple of examples. Tort case number one is Frame v. Camo, and this is where a substitute teacher attempted to remove a student from class, and it was alleged that there was an assault and battery that occurred. Results, so the court found that even though that the substitute teacher did commit a battery and laid hands on a student, he was justified in doing so. It was necessary to remove the student, not only to maintain order, but to facilitate the learning process. My evaluation of this, so our reactive measures as a district, we would probably have all staff become TCI trained probably at the next faculty meeting. And in instances such as this, we would recommend calling the SRO or having the hall monitor become involved or a principal become involved, and do not have staff at any time, an aide, teacher, lunch monitor, anybody like that, place hands on a student. And we would probably place that staff member on paid leave. What I would do as a principal, or administration, I would have written instructions for substitute teachers so they understand the functions of the school, what we're going to do at school, and definitely trainings to make sure teachers and staff know the protocols with students who don't want to leave the room. And the protocol would be, we do not want to lay hands on a student. And that's our ethical situation. At no time should staff place their hands on students in an attempt to remove them from the classroom. No force should ever be used. Let the SRO, the school resource officer, or principal, handle that. Tort case number two is Flanagan v. Canton. Physical education class became unruly. Student was injured in the locker room without the teacher's supervision, and the student received severe injuries. And as a matter of fact, the court actually found in favor of the student here. The teacher owed a greater duty to supervise the students because they had been rowdy, and he had spoken to them. Reactive measures, we might lock the locker rooms, no changing for phys ed class in the foreseeable future, increase in supervision during gym classes, whether it's aides and people like that. But I thought this was a difficult case because in this day and age, many teachers feel uncomfortable being in the locker room while students are changing, rightfully so. And many students also feel uncomfortable having an adult in there while they're changing. So this is kind of a slippery slope here. Proactive measures, you could have had the students, when they're unruly, change in intervals. 10 students go, then they come out, then another 10 go in. That might help to do it. But the ethics, we just got to improve classroom management skills of the teacher, and always ask for help. If they're being unruly, call somebody in and let a principal speak to them. Tort case number three is Johnson v. School District of Millard. In 1993, it was a first grade class at Willa Cather Elementary School. Music teacher taught the kids to play London Bridge. They could teach a song. I don't understand why they're really playing a game, especially first grade. Teacher gave instructions and allowed the students to play the game on their own while playing this game. The student was swung fast and hard, was thrown into a bookshelf. He received 50 stitches above his eye, blurred vision, recurring headaches, and the teacher was found negligent. She did not provide direct supervision. She was at the board with her back turned, not watching the kids. And it's not like they had done this previously. This was the first time doing it. So, as a soccer coach, whenever we're going to do something physical, I'm always involved. I'm always there paying attention to what's going on. I don't understand why this teacher wasn't. Reactive measures, there will be no games played in classrooms, however, that require student contact. That really should only be for phys ed class. There's too much in a classroom, desks, bookshelves, chalkboards that they can hit. All right, that place is not for physical contact or games, really. Teacher most likely placed on paid leave. Faculty meeting to discuss remedies with staff. Proactive members, I really still don't understand the thinking of the teacher here. And contact games where you're going to do this stuff should only be played in physical education class where teachers have been trained, and it's a much bigger area, and there's not a lot of furniture or whatnot to cause injury. And the ethics situation. Teachers need to directly supervise students at all times when dealing with physical activities, and especially those become leading to students becoming injured. You just have to pay attention to what's going on and know what's going on. Case number 4 is Rollins v. Concordia Parish School Board. In 1982, a student, fourth grader, Lisa Rollins, fractured her leg falling off a merry-go-round. Physical education class had 40 students and 1 substitute teacher. The merry-go-round was going too fast. She had to deal with an argument on the basketball court, and the school board found her negligent in not providing adequate supervision. I'm sorry, the school board was found, not they found her. Reactive measures. So we're not combining phys ed class. There shouldn't be 40 kids with 1 teacher. The way we do it in New York State is you're allowed to supervise, I believe it is 20 at a time or 21 students at a time in phys ed class. For every 22nd student, you need a second PE teacher in there. No teacher should be supervising more than 25 at least at a time, or at the most at a time in PE. Hire more support staff or another PE teacher as like a 0.4 or 0.3 as a part-time teacher. This was an easily preventable situation. We don't want to leave, especially in phys ed, a substitute teacher alone just to give another teacher a free period. Always have 2 PE teachers in the gym or playground at all times. And the ethics of this, more supervision is never a bad thing. So, when you have lunch duty, when you have recess, when you have gym, let's overload it. When you're chaperoning games, let's overload it. As opposed to, if you're chaperoning a game between 2 rivals, you don't want 2 chaperones there. You want 20 chaperones there. Yeah, you might have to pay a lot more, but you know what? You're going to stem and you're going to stop any problems. And the last one is Brahatic against Millard School District. This is kind of an unfortunate situation. A 14-year-old student was killed when he was struck by a golf club in PE class. It was being done inside the gym because of inclement weather. Student was rendered unconscious, died 2 days later. The class was being supervised by a teacher who was down with the girls and a student teacher for 60 kids. So 1 real teacher for 60 kids. Huge problem. Court found that the teacher did not follow written procedural rules and decided to change them on her own. It was a foreseeable accident, completely avoidable, and the court found against the school district. Reactive measures. This is why we have to follow all protocols. All right, they're written for a reason. We don't just make rules and protocols up in our mind. Like we have a recess every day, and during gym class or during lunch, and we go into the gym, and it became too much, so we wrote protocols. 6th graders on Monday, 7th graders on Tuesday, 8th graders on Wednesday. You don't ever combine those because you'd have too many people in there, risk of injury, but now we're following protocols, right? And that can save us as teachers who are supervising that duty. If we don't follow those protocols, if we let everybody go in there, somebody's going to get hurt and now we're liable. So follow protocols. Outdoor sports should be played outdoors. So that's another reactive measure. Golf, football, baseball. All right, if you're going to use a wiffle ball, that's one thing, but baseball, that needs to be outdoors where there's more room. Indoor sports, basketball, indoor soccer, need to be played indoors. Meet with the PE department and the athletic director to determine the best way forward, and trainings for staff and ways to be flexible when original plans are ruined. The raining is the same thing as the internet going down. All right, you got to figure it out, and you got to be flexible. Proactive measures. Again, PE classes, this is that rule would have already been in place, for PE classes. Outdoor sports are outdoors. There's no reason that golf should be done indoors. You go to a driving range, you're not doing golf indoors. So golf's got to be outdoors. Outdoor sports stay outdoors. But B, the other part of this, follow the rules. It's not hard. Just follow the rules, and this would not have happened. That teacher probably should have been fired. You got to follow the rules, and her not following the rules and leaving the student teacher in charge led to a student being killed. And teachers need to be flexible, think on the fly when original plans are ruined. It's going to happen. You got to get over it, and you got to be better at your job.